Welcome back to the movie recap. Today I'm gonna show you a 2020 Australian psychological horror film called Relic. Spoilers ahead. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. The movie begins in a countryside part of Australia, a lone house located in the middle of nowhere. An older woman is standing half naked in her living room, spilling water on the floor, but keeps looking out of nowhere. Hence, a car is driving in a dense forest. Inside it is the mother and daughter, Kay and Sam. They are listening to a worried voice message from Mike Adler, a local police officer looking for their missing grandmother, Edna. Neighbors aren't able to see her for a few weeks now. Kay and Sam are distraught. When they get to Edna's house, no one is answering the door as they keep banging it. Luckily, Kay could still remember how to get inside using the pet door, and she went inside and could unlock the door. The first thing she does is look for her mom, and she notices the emptiness of their house. As they are roaming around, Kay sees the rotting fruits on the countertop, and it's unusual for her to see them since mom is not like that. With the quietness of the environment, even the footsteps are noisy as they are cracking old plywood tiles. Sam tries to open the bedroom of her gran, but her mom says she needs to stay outside first. When Kay tries to go inside, an unmade bed surprises them. During the night, Kay drives to the nearby police station, where she talks with Mike Adler. Mike asks her a couple of questions about Edna's last whereabouts, but Kay doesn't know where her mom goes. She gives the latest picture to Mike, and he assures her that they will start the investigation as soon as possible. Back in the house, Sam is unpacking their things. She carries all the baggage items alone. As she goes up to her mother's old bedroom, Sam notices an endless pile of random things. There are tons. When Kay comes home, she starts to clean the house, wiping the cabinets, and old, classic phonographs, meeting with the stuff that is old as her. Sam is eating their dinner on the other side of the room, a pizza box. The mother and daughter endlessly discuss their lives, plans, and life updates. Before she goes to sleep, Kay is quite uncomfortable in her bedroom, so she looks up to the window. The raindrops start to fall, and suddenly the light turns off. The following day, Kay is with police officers walking in the woods. They are shouting Edna's name, trying to get a reply. But soon after, they give up as they search for no one. Kay decides to go home and continue to clean their house. She meets her mother's old piano and tries to give it a try again after so many years. She starts to play Fur Elise but keeps on failing, playing wrong notes. Her daughter, Sam, is outside smoking. She is sitting on the patio when suddenly a sound from the bush comes toward her. At first, Sam thought it was Gran, but it was Jamie, a local boy. Jamie is a special, retarded boy who is concerned with Edna too. They start having a conversation again and have a good time. Sam goes inside their house while her mom is still playing the piano. Kay confesses to her that Edna called her a few weeks before, telling her that she's scared, but she ignores it. After a few moments of talking, Sam and Kay notice the weird wall in the living room. It is filled with a black stain from nowhere. It is weird and unusual. During the night, as Kay sleeps, she dreams about an old house. This house is in the middle of nowhere, one-story, tiny house with a big fireplace attached to it. Kay sees herself walking towards the house, and as soon as it opens the door, the blackness is the only thing she sees. Underneath the bed is a dying body of the unknown, its whole body black, and almost only you can see skins and bones. She wakes up the following day, and a kettle runs in the kitchen. She thought she was in her nightmare, dreaming about the same thing. As Kay walks inside the kitchen doorway, she sees her mum facing the kitchen countertop. Kay thinks it's only a dream, but Edna turns back and faces her. She is alive. Her hair is messy, her clothes have bloodstains, and her foot is covered with dirt and dust. Kay asks her mum where she went, but it seems like Edna doesn't hear a thing. She ignores the question and continues what she's doing. Sam runs to her granny immediately, and she hugs her tightly. A doctor comes into their house, and they all meet up in Edna's room. The doctor is asking her medical questions and asking if she is feeling not well. Edna continuously ignores the question about where she went and is not answering directly. After the doctor goes out, Sam and Edna bond. Edna is carving a bar of soap, and Sam is looking at her, trying to analyze her. Kay can't keep up her rage when they are in the living room, so she asks her mum where she went, but Edna misdirects them with her answers. The granny leaves the living room and goes to her bedroom. Edna is looking at herself through the mirror, seeing a black heart in her chest, a thing she's been hiding with her family. On the other side, Sam is going through all her family stuff when she finds her mother's old drawing notebook, and there are beautiful drawings. She goes to her mom and asks her about the specific house drawn in it. It's the house in Kay's dreams, her great-grandfather's house, where she used to hang out when she was a kid. It's nostalgic for Kay because it's been years since the last time she saw her drawings. She can't even remember how she drew them. Kay tells Sam that she wants to put her mom in a home for the aged shelter, where she will be taken care of. Sam disapproves because she truly loves her grandmother. She feels it is unfair for her grandmother to be put in a facility where she used to care for her mom. They continue to argue. Kay can't sleep at night, thinking about what happened, and she decides to get up and walk towards her mother's room. Kay sees her mom sitting on her bed, staring at nowhere, and seems afraid. Edna sees the shadow following Kay. When her daughter comes in, Kay asks her things that are usual for their conversation. Edna says that she sees something behind Kay's back but refuses to believe it. She looks under the bed until she hits her head. Kay thought it was her mom. She got mad and walked out. The following day, Kay goes to Melbourne to check out a facility for aged people. When the nurse is touring her around the facility, an old man holding his crutches is staring at her. He looks terrified yet so confused at Kay's aura, and he keeps looking until it makes her uncomfortable. Kay keeps walking as she looks back at the man from time until she reaches her mom's room. When they enter the room, she feels heavy inside and terrible for making this happen for her mom, but she has no choice. Her mom needs to be watched. Back in the house, Edna plays her old, classic vinyl records, and she even wears a majestic dress with a full bloom makeup on her face. She starts dancing alone, but as Sam approaches the room, Edna takes her hand and starts to dance. Apparently, Edna notices the ring on Sam's finger. She recognizes it and tries to take it, hurting Sam. While Sam is trying to give it back to her properly, her granny is taking her hand. Granny is the one who gave a ring to Sam. They stop, making Sam so mad that she takes off the ring and throws it at her grandmother. With all the frustration she feels, Sam decides to take a bath. Tears are falling down her face as she hears footsteps coming through the bathroom door. She notices a shadow standing in front of the door and thinks it's her grandmother, and she will come inside to apologize. Edna is still sitting back in the living room. The shadow left, and it walked away from the door. The three of them are in the living room and kitchen during dinner. As Kay cooks their dinner, Sam starts the conversation by saying that she wants to move into Edna's house, but Kay and Grandma disagree. Edna confronts her daughter about her trip to Melbourne. And Kay feels numb as her mother knows her whereabouts. She feels terrible about what she's doing to her mother. As they go to their bed, Sam can't sleep and starts roaming around the house, and she sees her grandmother standing in the doorway, looking afar to the hallway in front of her. She starts asking questions to her granny. Sam is still confused about why there are so many locks in the house, but Edna explains that after her grandfather died, the house seemed empty and bigger. Edna explains that she puts a lot of locks because someone is trying to go inside their house, which confuses Sam even more. They don't even have any neighbors. The house is in the middle of nowhere, yet someone still wants to break inside it. After Sam helps her grandmother go back to bed, she hears a crumbling, noisy sound from somewhere in the house. It sounds like someone is banging on the door. Then, she walks into an empty room filled with a pile of random things until she reaches the door where the sound is coming from. Sam opens it, expecting someone to be inside. Still, she only finds the washing machine on. There are no clothes inside, but it's working. She turns it off and tries to return where she came from, but Sam still feels the tremble in her body. She has goosebumps and hears the washing machine's door slowly opening. The black stain and molds are slowly creeping on the other sides of the house, the ceiling, kitchen, walls, door, stairway, and much more, making the place even creepier. The next day, Sam checks out her grandmother's room. She hears her grandma talking to someone while she is carving the soap. Sam asks Grandma who she's talking to, but Edna seems afraid. Edna gets mad and panics as Sam tries to help her with what she is doing. Grandma's hair is messy, her foot is covered with dirt, and her clothes are filthy. Sam burst into tears because she couldn't understand what was happening anymore. She was just trying to help. Alex, their neighbor and Jamie's dad, is talking to Sam because she asks why Jamie is distancing from her grandmother since he's the only one who plays with Gran. Alex explains that one day when Edna and Jamie played hide and seek, and when it's Jamie's turn to hide, Edna completely forgot that they were playing since she's been finding him for so long. Jamie hides in the cupboard, where Edna locks him there. When Alex notices Jamie hasn't gone home yet, he tries to find him. He asks Edna, and she denies Jamie's there, but Alex hears his sons crying, banging so loud at the cupboard door, trying to get help. Alex opened it and freed Jamie. Since that day, he distanced his son from Edna. Sam apologizes for what happened and for the terrible trauma for his son. On the other hand, Kay is sitting at the bedside table, writing the things her mom needs, when she notices her mother walking away from the house. She immediately stops what she's doing and chases her mom. It confuses Kay as she walks more because her mum goes to the woods, holding a pile of album pictures. She finally finds out what her mother is doing, eating the photographs. Kay tries to stop her, but Edna bites her hand, stopping and leaving again. Kay recognizes her face in the pieces of the picture. Then she finds her mother digging on the other side of the woods, burying the album. Edna tries to explain that she's terrified. Her precious pictures might have been taken by the people who wanted to break inside her house. She's crying, but Kay can't still understand her. Back in the house, Sam notices another hallway in the attic. She removes all the boxes blocking her way, and using the light of her phone, she enters it. Sam sees the replica of their house, the same one. It seems like she's living in a mirror world. When she tries to go back, the hallway is now closed. Sam panics and cries, shouting her mother's name. She roams around the house, trying to figure out where to go. In the actual house, Kay is looking for Sam. As she distracts herself from taking care of her mother, she notices that her mum is not eating the dinner that she prepared. Edna is just holding her fork and knife, looking badly at her daughter. Edna gets up and goes to the bathroom. Moments pass by, and Kay notices a water leak from the ceiling. She immediately goes to the bathroom, where her mum is taking a bath. Kay takes a stool and looks through the window pane above the door. She sees her mum sitting in the bathtub, hitting her chest, and seems emotionless. Kay is banging on the door. She can't unlock it and goes inside. Until her mum opens it, and it seems like nothing happened. Edna just walks out, and Kay turns off the faucet. Since the water is filling up, it causes the whole house to have a blackout. Kay looks for her mum, who is now throwing all their things against the wall and is not saying a word. Apparently, she hears the scream of her daughter Sam, and she tries to find her. Kay goes to the same hallway where Sam went earlier, and they finally find each other. Sam is holding a tube, pounding the living room wall on the other side. They finally make a hole and go outside of it, when suddenly their grandmother is there chasing them. Edna goes outside from the spot as well. Kay and Sam fight her when they finally hit her with the tube they're holding. Edna gets unconscious. When they are about to leave, Kay realizes that she can't leave her mum. She locks the door, and it leaves Sam outside. Sam tries to go inside. Kay carries her mum to her bedroom and puts her to bed. She slowly takes off the remaining skin on her mum, showing an unknown human's black, skinny body. Suddenly, Sam is in the doorway, observing what her mother is doing to her grandma. It terrifies her, but Kay puts her mum in a lying position, and she lies beside her. The movie ends with the three of them lying next to each other, and what terrifies Sam the most is when she looks at her mum's back. It's all black as well. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this to help the channel out. Have a nice day.